Hi everyone, it's nice to see you again in this video. In case you are new to my channel, please feel free to subscribe, and the simplest way of supporting me is to give a thumbs up to this video. So now in this video I'm going to be showing you how attackers can spy on your screen activity using browsers. So as I was checking over the internet, I came across this blog from Mr. Docs, which is quite awesome. You can go on and check it. It has some good content. But he went on and made a research on Chromium browsers whereby they can be used by attackers so that they can be able to view whatever that you'll be operating on your machine, just in case if you go on and you run a couple of commands on your computer, whether Windows or Linux. So now here it goes on talking about the screen sharing, which we all know. For those of you guys who do use Zoom, you ever came across the screen sharing. This is prompted by a user to go on and allow this to take place. That in this kind of attack, you will be able to execute this without the user intercepting that. So he goes on, talks about how can you go on and execute that on all Chromium browsers, including our Chrome, the Edge, and others. So he gave us a simple HTML file that we can go on and use so that screenshots are going to be captured. Then later at the bottom, he gave us a PHP file that is going to be used to capture information from the image. In the HTML5, our data from the image is turned to our base64. Now this PHP file is going to get that and decode it down so that our image is going to be submitted to the server or any location where we want to save our pictures. So a site like this can be hosted on a server over the internet, and you'll be sent links that you can go on and access, whereby the attacker may start looking at you. But of course, this is a two-way for the attacker to be able to see whatever that you'll be executing. They can go on and engineer you so that you can run a couple of lines on your machine. So when you read through the site, they tell you that this is being used in all Chromium based browsers. So in my Obsidian here, I try to create a list on a couple of Chromium based browsers, and when you try to see, we have a couple of 13 browsers, which means this kind of attack is present in all these browsers. So in case you do have one of these and you tend to run the couple of tricks that we are going to be running on our machine, you'll be vulnerable. But I don't want you to forget that this video is strictly for educational purposes only, and the machine that I'm using in this video is in a controlled environment. Now we are going to go on and start. Now when you try to see here, he talks about the headless mode, whereby the attacker can execute this on your machine, whereby even the browser won't pop up, but in the background he will be able to see whatever that you'll be doing on your machine. So all you can do is to just go on up, copy the HTML file, and also copy the PHP. Now when you scroll down further, he also created a simple script that will go on and take screenshots continuously. This is better. Just go on and copy this HTML file, but before you execute, feel free to read through, because this is normal JavaScript and the PHP file will remain the same. So let's go on and put this to a test and see how the attack may happen. When you see it in action, you will know how to protect yourself from this kind of attack. So I'm going to go on and open up my terminal. All I need to do is to move to the location where my file is. So I'm going to move to this path and press enter, and when I list this, you see that I have this index.html and I do have the upload.php. All these files are the ones that are present on our site, whereby this HTML file that I copied earlier is the HTML file that will go on and copy or take screenshots continuously. With our upload.php, it is the same file which is there on the site. So I can just go even try to open them so that you can see how they are. I'm going to just use vi This is the simple PHP file. Now when you go on and open up your PHP file, I want you to look at the upload dir. So this is where you are going to provide the location where your images are going to be saved. You should make sure that any path that you provide here, it has, or the user that you are using right now has permissions to go on and maybe create anything in that location. So when you try to see here, personally, I just provided my home directory. Simply, this is my home grenade, that is our parental directory. Now in the desktop projects, Mr. Docs, who is the researcher about this, I have a folder which is called screenshot screen, and where I want to save my images is screenshots. Now I already have permissions to go on and edit this. Let's say if you want to go on and try this, you should take note of this, because if you don't, this trick isn't going to work on your machine. So I'm going to go on and exit outside of this, and let's go on and check our HTML5, which is our index.html. So when you try to see, it is completely full of just the JavaScript, because here we have our script tag, and if we scroll down at the bottom, you will also see the screen tag. So let me just go on and exit outside of this script. Now since you've seen the files that we have, these files are the same that we do have on the site. This is the directory where I want my screenshots to be saved. But before I go on and execute that, I already have data in this location. So I'm going to just enter this location for screenshots, press enter. Now if we list, you see that I do have a couple of screenshots. So I'm going to just go on and remove everything which is present in this location. So I'm going to just go on and use a wildcard, those that end with a PNG. If I execute that, you see that all my images have been removed from this location. So all I'm going to do is to move back once so that I start up my PHP server. Remember, this can be hosted on Apache, though I'm not going to use Apache on my system. So this is where I'm going to go on and say PHP with a -s, then provide a localhost and the port that we shall be listening to, and that will be our 8000. So to go on and press enter. Now our PHP server has been started. I'm going to go on and divide up my terminal. Then this side, this is where I'm going to go on and execute our Chromium command. So if we come back this side, you see that here, in case you want to run this, you go on and say Microsoft Edge or Chrome, and you run the headless, whereby the browser won't be started up, but make sure that this is going to be the path where your site is hosted to. So I'm going to just come back here to my terminal, and I'm going to just say Chromium. I already executed this in the previous test that I was doing. So since I have a Chromium installed on my Kali Linux, personally I'm running totally this in Linux, but if you are using Windows, for you, all you have to do is to write your Chrome or Microsoft Edge or Brave. So we are going for the headless, whereby the browser won't be opened up, but we shall be able to capture everything that will be taking place. Make sure our server is set correctly, because since this is running on localhost 80,000, this is the path that we've provided there, and we are accessing our index.html. So if I go on and execute that, all we have to do is to wait for a couple of minutes. Now since we've set this on a PHP server and it is running in our foreground, you'll be able to see the images as they are being saved in our location. So here we are getting our index.html, but when you try to see, we have the accepted. Now, which means our images are being saved in the location of screenshots. So I'm going to open up my file manager, move to the desktop projects. I'm going to move to Mr. Docs screen, then we come to screenshot. Now when you try to see a couple of screenshots are being taken, let me just minimize this. Again, can minimize this. You will see that a couple of stuffs or all these steps are being taken. We shall be able to see them in our folder. So if I come back, you see that a couple of screenshots are being saved in this location. So I'm going to go on and come back to this location and press Ctrl C to stop our server. Now coming back here to our graphical interface, you will see that we have a couple of pictures that were saved in this location. Now you see that in just a few minutes, if the attacker manages to persuade you to execute one of the commands on your machine, he will be able to spy on you just using a browser when you don't know. Remember, this video is strictly for educational purposes only, and what you must be keen of is to always look at the couple of commands that you always execute on your computer. Now, in case you are interested to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe, give a thumbs up to this video again as a way of supporting me and my channel, and I'll see you in the next